Queen Flannel here. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another single object tutorial video. Incidentally, I feel like we need to come up with a name for this series. So right now I've been kind of like lumping it under, the how I color because it fits, but it might be nice to differentiate um between like the shorter series and when I get back into doing like longer how I color videos. So if y'all got any suggestions for a name for this series, let me know in the comments. uh ugh, I can talk, it's okay. Today we're gonna jump back into Mythographic Magical Earth. This was kind of the book that started this series, and we did the flowers. I showed you guys a quick tutorial um, on how I use Polychromos, and then we kind of decided we were going to take this page one element at a time. So if you missed the flower video, I will put a link, a little card up there in the corner so that you can go check that one out. But today we are going to work on the rock face guy. We're gonna do the big guy today. Uh, as you can see, I have worked my way through some of the smaller ones. They have some different looks to them. I was kind of playing around with technique and figuring out how I wanted them to look. Uh, and we are going to work with 4 pencils today. So I've got Cool Gray 2, Cool Gray 4, Cool Gray 6, and my favorite dark indigo for our shadow color. Okay, so the first thing that I am going to do is I had kind of worked it out in my head that my light source is coming from this direction. So the back part of our rock and down here towards the grass is going to be in shadow. So I liked this method best when I was playing around with this. Is I'm going to go in first with the dark indigo and put down a very light layer um, where I want my shadow to be, where I feel like our rock would be darkest. And I'm going to start super light. As I mentioned before, the way that I prefer to use these pencils is to lay down a light base layer. And typically when I do this, my light base layer is a light color. I'll use either like cream, or if I know that my top layers are going to be greens or blues, I might lay down a light layer of yellow. It just depends on what I'm working with. But your initial layer should be, you don't want to come in too heavy with these pencils, because then if you don't like it, it makes it really difficult to erase, for one thing. And if you do like it, it makes it really difficult to blend your colors out as you build them up. So I always advise start light and build your layers up. And I'm just trying to see, so he is kind of hiding down here behind this flower, and it's hard on some of these mythographic books to tell what element is what. And let me see if I can get us in a little closer here so that we can see what we're doing. And I think this is one of the smaller rocks, but we're not going to focus on that right now. And so under his chin here. And I feel like my light would still be kind of on his front here, up on his nose. I'm going to do a little bit down here near on his arm, down near the water. And on this front side of his arm. And then on the back side of his hand. And right now with this, I'm not really following the lines, the little like detail lines that the artist has given. And we will go in later and do some of that detail work. But for right now, I'm just kind of soft blocking in where I want my shadows. And if this is not your style, you can absolutely use black, but it's just not generally the way I work. And I felt like it would be a little too heavy for the idea that I have for the rest of this, because I am going to go in and finish this image in, with the flowers and whatnot. And they have a little bit of a softer color tone to them. And more than likely I will use the indigo to shadow my flowers as well. So I am going to add a little bit here on the palm and underneath where the girl is standing, and kind of in these little like crevices here. And we'll come up on the top of his head, and I can always go in and add more shadow as I get into the image. This is just kind of like a preliminary pass over. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is go in with my Cool Gray 2. And again, light layers. And as you can see, the Cool Gray 2 is really bringing out the blue in the indigo, which I'm okay with. We're just gonna go in really lightly. And I'm being a little messy with it, but honestly, I think that kind of keeps some of the texture. And I mean, this is a rock, so I feel like it would have a little bit of that gritty texture. And I'm going to get a little darker down, or I'm going to press a little firmer as I get down here into the little crevice area down here. And I am going to bring some of this cool gray 2 up into some of this open area here. I'm trying to make sure because some of these petals on this flower are kind of blending in with his face. So this page is going to look a little funky once I finish it because I did each of these little heads a little different. Like this guy back here is um, definitely got a darker vibe to him than the rest of them, but that's okay. And again, light layers as I come through here, and I'm not super worried about filling the entire space with the gray because it's a pretty light color, and I like to use the white of the paper for some of my highlights, so it will just look like the light is hitting those areas a little bit stronger than others. And you can absolutely use this technique and this color palette, which I will also put in the description below, for other types of rocks, bricks, if you're coloring like a house or something like that. This same, technique can be applied. So it's just a lot of layering. And I'm working in little like swirly circles, and I'm not pressing super hard. Again, I think that's one of the things that when people come into the Polychromos pencils, especially from a wax base, or especially Prismacolors, where you can like smoosh your colors together, and you can't really do that with these pencils, and so it comes with a tendency to just try and push really, really like hard, um, to get that color payout, and you just end up damaging your paper, the tooth of your paper, when you do that. because of how hard these pencils are. And then on top of that, you also end up hurting your hand. And then it just makes them not enjoyable to use. So they are a pencil that requires a little bit of patience. But the other thing to keep in mind is that you don't need 20 layers to get a nice result with these. Okay, come back over here on the top of his head. So I think we need to come back in with the indigo just a little bit underneath this little area right here. It just needs just a little bit because now that I've started blocking in my gray, I'm seeing, some areas where I want a little bit more of that tone. And a little bit right here on his nose. Oh, I think that's one of the leaves. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with, this is my cool gray 4. Let me give it a sharpen real quick. And I'm going to start adding some darker elements in here. Mostly just with the cool gray 4, I'm concentrating in a lot of these little like cracks and crevices. And just areas where he would be a little bit more shadowed. And there's not really any like rhyme or reason to where I'm applying some of this. I kind of want it to look a little like random, I guess. But I do want him to be darker down here at the bottom. So this is going to be where we'll go in with our darkest gray here. And so I am kind of using this to accentuate some of these outlines. And then when I go in with my burnisher, when I hit that point, if I take the burnisher back and forth, it will pull some of this color out and it'll give it an interesting looking texture. And now I'm going to come over to his arm here. So I got a little too heavy with that little crevice there, so I'm just using the Cool Gray 2 to blend a little bit of that out. Oh, we went off frame there. My bad. And again, I'm going to come in with my Cool Gray 2 and just kind of blend out some of that other gray. And you could absolutely come in with a white pencil on your highlights if you wanted. I actually don't have my white polychromos out on my desk. I do have another, I think I have a Derwent white pencil out here. Okay, so now I am going to come in with my Cool Gray 6. I'm going to sharpen it first. So this pencil, because it is my darkest pencil, I am really, really going to keep this to just a few specific areas. The areas where I really want to accentuate how dark it is. So mainly like at the edges. And around some of these other objects. And I am trying to be very mindful how far out I pull this, the Cool Gray 6. So like right in the little corners of some of these little cracks and crevices. And so really, as you move along through your pencils, the darker your color, the less of it you're going to use on your page. So I want a little bit of underneath her foot there. Okay, I'm gonna come back in with my cool gray 2 and just kind of go over some areas. So this is the cool gray 4. I just feel like it needs a little more gray in here. It's a little too blue. And add a little more gray in some of these little crevices here. Okay, so I like the way that looks. Let me just show you guys. I'm not going to do the whole, I'm not going to burnish the whole piece on camera because we are at 30 minutes and I want to keep this series pretty condensed. But this is the Derwent burnisher, not the blender, the burnisher. And I have found that as a final touch with the Polychromos, I really like the way this pencil behaves. And so let me find a good spot here. And so just really lightly, uh, when I feel like I have enough layers down as a final touch, I like to use this to smooth out any areas that I feel like need to be smoothed out. And again, light hand. I'm not pushing super hard. You do have to be mindful with this if you're using a wide variety of colors. If you're doing something, trying to think of a good example. If you're doing an image of a bird and you've got a pretty big spectrum of colors, uh, you want to be careful not to pull your colors into each other if they're I can't even think if they're not if they don't play nice together. So if you've got a green feather and a purple feather, you want to blend them. You want to blend your purple to into your purple and your green into your green, but you don't want to cross them. So you just want to be mindful of your edges. And if you have a lot of like texture in your image, you want to be careful not to smooth things out too much. It really just depends on the look that you're going for. But I do find this helps uh, in the end, especially if you're doing like backgrounds and things like that, where you want like a sky, if you want it to have a smoother, more blended look to it. So, all right. So that is our rock face guy. I know he looks pretty light on camera, but I'm pretty happy with the way he turned out. As I go through and finish more of this image, I probably will do some refinements to it, but I just wanted to give you guys a color combo and something different, and a little bit of a technique that you could use for rocks and brickwork and roofs if you're coloring houses. And again, you can always swap the dark indigo out for black if that's your preference. So let me know if there are any other elements on this image that you would like to see. Do we want to do the grass and the water as separate videos, or do we want to move on to another image, another medium? Let me know in the comments what you guys think we should do. If there's anything else in here that you see that you want me to kind of cover. So yeah, so that's gonna be it for me for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider dropping a like on this video. It helps YouTube's algorithm pick up my content so more people see it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much.